Is the navigation video for Political Science 1513, U.S. Federal Government Online. And basically what I'm going to do here is walk you through how to navigate the course Blackboard page so that you know where to start and how to progress throughout the semester. Basically then, I'm explaining what you need to do at the beginning of this course, how you should proceed, and in addition to that, where you can go to find what resources. Upon entering the Blackboard page for this course, you should be automatically directed to the course homepage. And that's where we're at right now. So what you see on the screen right now is the course homepage. If you ever navigate away from this page and for some reason want to or need to get back, simply come over here to the left-hand side of your screen where you're going to see this task pane. The very first hyperlinked option is going to say course homepage. Simply left-click it and lo, you've been brought back to the course homepage. But for the purposes of our class, there's not actually all that much you need to pay attention to on this particular page. You might want to look at My Announcements, but also keep in mind that beneath the course homepage option on the task pane to the left-hand side of your screen is an option that will allow you to see all of the recent announcements for the course. Now, right now there are no announcements. Nothing interesting has happened because the semester hasn't started. But throughout the course of this semester, once classes have begun, if for whatever reason I decide to make any alterations to the syllabus or the course schedule, to move a due date, to change your testing procedures, this is where I'm going to notify you about these alterations. So it is critically important that you pay attention to the announcements on this tab in order to avoid having the rug pulled out from under your feet. You don't want to go into an exam expecting multiple choice questions and then be asked to write an essay without having had the opportunity to prepare yourself. You don't want to complete an assessment, which I ultimately cancel and then take off, and then you've wasted your time, right? So do pay attention to these announcements. Primarily speaking, however, most of what you do on this course is going to take place under one of these two options here on the content slab of this task pane. So we're going to begin with Start Here. Upon entering the course, the very first thing you need to do is access the Start Here tab under Content on the left-hand side task pane. Under Start Here, you're going to find a lot of really valuable content, the most important piece of which is going to be this syllabus. Now, you can see that the syllabus is linked. So if you click this link, then automatically what you should see is that a Word document will download with the syllabus included in it. At that point, you should open the syllabus and begin taking a look at the content. There's a lot of really important information in this syllabus, and it is a required component of this course. So I do want you to read this, but among other things, what you're going to find here are my contact details, right? My office phone number, my email address, and my office hours. In addition to which, you will also find a description of the course with a breakdown of all of our learning objectives. Try to look over these and keep them in mind as we are going through the semester. What I would like for you to do as you listen to lectures, as you complete assignments, so on and so forth, is try to relate the content of those assignments, of those lectures, of the required readings to these broad points here. Okay? In addition to that, you're going to find a whole bunch of important information about communication policy, about the technical requirements, and the types of equipment you will need to complete this course properly. You'll see our attendance policy. You're going to see our makeup policies. You're going to see our grading policies. You're going to see a breakdown of what to expect for exams, discussion requirements, assessments, and other activities, so on and so forth, right? You're also going to find, interestingly enough, a breakdown of the course schedule, right? So for now, what we're going to see right here is a breakdown of the tentative exam dates. Where it says availability, what that basically tells you is the date at which you can originally begin taking that exam. So exam 1 is not available until after 9/15/17. Before that date, you will not be able to find this. However, once you have reached 9/15/17, you can actually go in and take this exam. Do note that you only have a couple of days to submit it. Usually exams are going to become available on Fridays, and I'll want them turned in before the end of Sunday. So what this means then is that based on the information here, you know that somewhere between 9:15:17 and 9:17:17, you need to take your first exam, right? You're also going to see on this menu a breakdown of what content will be covered on each exam. Do note that the final exam will be comprehensive. You'll also see a broad overview of what topics are going to be covered on a week-by-week basis, right? I'd suggest that you take a look at that. Finally, what you're going to find is that the tentative course schedule included in the syllabus, while subject to change, does break down all of your respective reading requirements, your assessment due dates and open dates, as well as your discussion post and quiz due dates, and so on and so forth, right? So everything you need to know about what's expected of you on a week-by-week basis is broken down here in the syllabus. It's all brought together in a single place. There are other ways to access this information if you don't want to open the Word document, but this gives you a single handy-dandy reference point so that if, for example, you want to check what's expected of you for a particular day, but you're not ready to log on, you can take a look here. Just print this off and you've got the schedule. In addition to the syllabus, you're going to find that there's an introductory video, right? So you see this handsome bugger down here, but that's me. And basically this video is just going to give you a little bit of information about who I am as a person and as a professional. There's nothing in here that I'm going to test you on. I'll go ahead and tell you that now, but I do like to get to know my students and I like for them to get to know me, so I encourage all of you to take a look at that video and just, learn a little bit about who I am. There's also this getting started option. Now, what you can see is it says pending navigation video. That's where this is going to show up when it's actually time for you to begin watching this, right? So you will never see that red text there. You're just going to see this video linked in. You'll see a breakdown of the minimum technical skills, the prerequisite knowledge and skills that you're required to have before beginning this course. In here, under the Southeastern Quick Links information folder, you're going to find links to things like the communication and discussion board etiquette rules. You're going to find our Blackboard system requirements. All of these different university level policies are going to be made accessible to you here. It's important that you take a look at that so that you know what you're entitled to expect and receive as a student, as well as what's expected of you, what your responsibilities happen to be. Down here, you're going to see a MindTap course link. That is going to basically bring you into your textbook for this course. I won't go into that at this time, but remember, we do have an electronic text for this class, so it's important that you're aware of that. If you have any problems accessing or utilizing the textbook, down here, the very last option says Cengage Technical Support. That's where you're going to go for troubleshooting and for assistance in interfacing with your digital textbook. So that pretty much summarizes the Start Here tab. In terms of your graded coursework, you're going to go to the Coursework tab. Make sense? What you'll find here is that the coursework is organized by week, precisely in the same way that it was broken down in the course schedule provided under your syllabus, right? So each week is going to have a breakdown of what content you are expected to address, right? So for example, if we look at week 1, you know that you need to view the lecture entitled Introduction and the Function of Government. You need to complete the required readings, Chapter 1, pages 1 through 10. You need to complete Assessment 1, which will become available on Monday, so probably today if this is your first day looking at it, right? And will be due on the 24th. You are going to find the discussion post and the quiz. All of that content will be brought together for you here under week 1. So let's go ahead and open this and we'll take a look at what this looks like. In here, you're going to find first a questions and answer forum. If you click into this question and answer forum, it's going to bring you to the discussion board. You can create a thread asking me any questions that you have about the course, about your expectations, about the assignment, so on and so forth. And this is a really useful place to bring up any questions or concerns you might happen to have about the course. And it's a pretty easy way for me to gather all of your interests and questions together so that I can begin responding to them. Keep in mind that if you have a question, there's probably at least 1 or 2 other people who have the same question. So posting it here gives you an opportunity not only to gather the information you need to succeed, but to share the answer to that question with the rest of the class, right? You'll see right here a link to the weekly readings. If you click that, it's going to bring you to the portion of the electronic textbook that is assigned for this week. Usually I'll assign entire chapters at a time. For week 1, I'm going to be gentle. That's not what's happening. Make sure that you pay attention to any text that appears beneath the reading link for any particular week, because what you're going to find is that sometimes I'll specify which portions of a chapter I want you to read, and those are the parts that you'll want to pay attention to. You'll also find in here the lecture for this week, right? So here we have lecture 1. There are a few things that you ought to keep in mind. First and foremost, notice that there are subtitles available, that there are some automatically generated captions. So if you're hard of hearing or if it's just noisy where you happen to be at, make sure that you come down here and you click for the subtitles to play, and you'll actually be able to read what I have to say as I say it on the screen. Now, with that being said, do pay attention to the fact that the captions on YouTube are not perfectly accurate. I'm going to try to make sure that I can preview these before you begin the class, and I can correct any errors that might happen to appear. But if you notice any problems that have not been addressed before you access a lecture, please bring that to my attention so that I can correct these, right? In this particular week, you'll find a link to the Start Here portion of the class, just in case you happen to come to coursework before going to Start Here. Please don't do that. Make sure that you access Start Here. This will not appear in any other week. We have our week 1 discussion post. Now, this isn't actually going to be available to us at this time, but when it becomes available, it's important to understand, right, that what I need for you to do is to come here, create a thread, and provide the information described in the instructions for any particular discussion post. Now, do keep in mind that most of the weekly discussion requirements, including the discussion requirement for week 1, will also ask you to respond to one of your respective students, right? One of your fellow students. And in order to do that, you first have to create your own thread. In most cases, you won't be able to see what anyone else has posted until after you've created your own thread. This is to prevent plagiarism. Make sure that after you have posted, you check to see whether or not anyone else has posted so that you can satisfy the response portion of the requirement for any particular week's discussion post. You'll also find the assessments, right? Now, there's a couple things I'll tell you about the assessments. First, you're going to access these more often than not as a Word document, the exact same way that you would have accessed the syllabus, right? So you can come here, you can download it, you can click the arrow, tell it to open, and what you're going to find then is that you actually have the assessment brought before you. The instructions will be provided directly in the document. Generally speaking, you'll also have a grading rubric at the very end of the document. You will usually complete these assessments directly in this Word document and submit them to me as a .doc or .docx file on Blackboard. How do I go about doing that? Well, you come down here. Instead of clicking the blue hyperlinked text, you're going to click Assessment 1 right here. And it's going to bring you to another window. In this window, you'll see where it says Attach Files. These dotted lines mean that you can literally drag a document and put it here, but otherwise click Browse here, navigate through, find where you've saved your assessment, and turn it in by attaching that document, and then coming down here and clicking Submit. When you attach documents, make sure that you have saved the file in a .doc or .docx Word document format so that I can access it safely. And in addition to that, what I would like for you to do is to save these files as your name, last name, comma, first name, space, assessment, number, okay? Make sure that you do this in order to receive credit for your respective assignments. I don't have anything to submit, so I'm going to click Cancel. Finally, we've got our quiz. Simply come down here and click Quiz 1, and you're going to be brought to this screen. You'll see the instructions. You'll click Begin when you're ready. Do note that once you've started, you have to finish it, that you can't backtrack. Every answer you submit is final. Now, also keep in mind that not everything is going to be available right off the bat. So for example, if we look at week 2, we're going to see assessment 2 doesn't become available until 8/28/17. Well, at the time of my filming this video, it's not 8/28/17 yet. So you don't actually see a link to assessment 2. In order to complete assessment 2, you're going to access the week 2 folder after 8/28/17, but before 8/31/17. Okay? So that pretty much breaks down everything you need to know about this course and how to navigate it. Your expectations, again, are broken down here. Should be pretty straightforward. Hit me up if you have any questions. I look forward to a long semester with each of you.